Okay, today we're doing a deep dive into something really quite hopeful, I think. It's a new stem cell study from China, and it's being described as a powerful ray of hope for people with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, or IPF.
Yeah, and that hope part is crucial. IPF. It's a tough diagnosis, a really tough one. It's this chronic condition where the lungs just scar up progressively, fibrosis.
Scarring, and historically the outlook wasn't great, was it?
Not at all. It was seen as pretty much irreversible. The damage just mounts up, options become limited, quality of life drops sharply. It's debilitating.
So this breakthrough then, it's from a research team in Shanghai, led by Professor Ren Tao. And the work was published in eBioMedicine, that's a Lancet journal, so pretty high-impact stuff.
Absolutely. And what they did was, they basically challenged a long-held belief about lungs in late-stage IPF.
Which was what exactly?
The standard thinking was that in advanced IPF, the cells in the small airways were just finished, permanently damaged, no capacity left for repair. But Professor Tao's group looked closer and found something unexpected. A specific type of cell, these small airway basal cells, BCs for short, were actually still alive and kicking, even in really scarred up lungs.
Still viable, even late stage.
That's right, vibrant even. And this is the really interesting part.
Go on.
They weren't just surviving, they were like dormant seeds. They still had the full potential to wake up, multiply rapidly, and then differentiate.
Meaning they could turn into the other types of cells needed, like the ciliated cells and goblet cells that keep airways working.
Exactly. They could regenerate the functional lining, and crucially, because these are the patient's own cells.
So it enables autologous therapy using their own tissue.
Precisely. Which gets around that massive problem of immune rejection we see with donor cells. No need for lifelong immunosuppressant drugs, which carry their own risks. It's a huge advantage.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So that leads us to the clinical trial they ran. Small scale, right? 3 patients.
Yeah, a pilot study. 3 patients with late-stage IPF. A 57-year-old man, a 70-year-old woman, and a 61-year-old woman.
And the procedure itself, you mentioned it was minimally invasive.
That's right. They used a bronchoscope, a thin tube with a camera, to go in and collect a small sample of these basal cells. Then, back in the lab, they expanded those cells, grew lots more of them, and finally, they transplanted these cultured, healthy cells back into the damaged lower parts of the patient's lungs.
Wow. Okay, and the results after 6 months.
Transformative is the word used in the reporting, and honestly, looking at the data, it seems justified. For these 3 individuals, at least.
You should probably stress that it's just 3 people, so early days, but still.
Absolutely. Caution is needed. We need larger trials to confirm this. But the initial signs are very compelling. All 3 showed significant lung rejuvenation.
How did they measure that?
Key metric, forced vital capacity, or FVC. That's how much air you can forcefully breathe out after taking your deepest breath in. In IPF, FVC typically only goes down, steadily down. Here, it went up, an average increase of 15%. Now, 15% might not sound enormous, but for someone with late-stage IPF, that can be life-changing.
Right, that's the difference between being stuck indoors and maybe managing stairs or a walk.
Exactly, and they had visual proof too. High-res CT scans actually showed the fibrosis lessening, the scarring was reducing.
Okay, that's objective data. But what about how the patients actually felt? Their quality of life?
That seems to be where the biggest impact was. The study reported all 3 were able to stop using supplemental oxygen. Think about that. For people likely tethered to an oxygen tank for years, that's freedom.
That is huge. Any other measures?
Yeah, the 6-minute walk test. It's a standard test. How far can you walk in 6 minutes? Their distance increased by an average of 153 meters.
153 meters, that's what, like the length of a football pitch?
Pretty much, yeah. A standard football pitch, end to end. They could walk that much further after the treatment. That's a massive improvement in functional capacity.
Incredible. So, stepping back, what's the bigger picture here? What does this really mean?
Well, it clearly shows the potential of regenerative medicine using a patient's own hidden capabilities. It's not just stopping damage, it's potentially reversing it. And it certainly highlights the rapid progress being made in places like China, moving these advanced therapies forward.
It really feels like a fundamental shift.
It could be. And that leads to the big question, doesn't it? The provocative thought to leave people with. If we found a way to harness the body's own dormant cells to potentially reverse fibrosis in the lungs, a condition everyone thought was irreversible, then how might this approach change the game for treating other fibrotic diseases? Think about liver fibrosis, kidney fibrosis, conditions that also lack real cures right now. Could this same principle, finding and awakening the body's own repair crews, be the key we've been missing? That's the frontier this work really opens up.